This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are working in my Ireland scrapbook again. We're still working on Rock of Cashel pictures, and this is a current virtual crop challenge for the month of August. I'm excited. I'm all caught up. Well, I will be when I get these 4 done. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started on this one. All right, here's my workspace for today, and you can see that I have my border maker system out. We're going to be working on the virtual crop sketch from August, virtual crop sketch number 1. Right here, as you can see, I have all my pencil marks and notes all over it. And this one does have a border that goes across the bottom right here. And so my children upstairs are a little rambunctious today. Sorry about that. So we're going to punch a little border across the bottom here, and we're going to use this border maker cartridge to do that with. Now you can use any border maker cartridge that you'd like. In fact, a chain border maker cartridge would probably work best in this situation, but I pulled out this one, which is not a chain border maker cartridge, and we are going to play with it just a little bit and see if we can see how we might want to make this work here. Okay, so this is the woven Scallop border maker cartridge. This is actually one that is only available from a CM advisor, so you cannot order this one directly off the website. If you're interested in this one, let me know. I am an advisor and I can get it to you, or if you have an advisor or you are an advisor, just go to your back office and order it. Order yourself one. Treat yourself if you don't already have this. This is a really good one. And it really works well with the photos I'm going to use today, so that's why I chose it. All right, we're going to use our permanent and repositionable adhesive. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that today. But we won't get to that for a minute, so I'm going to move those over there. And you can see that most of the paper that we use, other than this punched border that goes across here, are square blocks of paper. There's this main strip that goes up the center that is 6 by 12, and then you have 2 pieces on each side that are 3 by 9, and then you have the border that goes across just to kind of accent the bottom of those 3 by 9 pieces that go on either side of that main strip. All right, then they have matted these photos. I'm not sure we'll mat the photos, but we'll see what we do when we get there. We might. And let's see what papers I've got here chosen. I'm going to pop this in here just so that I get it off my table. I've got a paper here that is not CM. It's this one right here. We used it I think in the last layout, or maybe the one before that, but I just love the walls, and it works really well for this Rock of Cashel environment because it is full of very, very old rock walls. They used the limestone from the hills that were nearby to build this cathedral, and it's just amazing to me that it has lasted as long as it has. I think last time we met I mentioned that a portion of this building that we visited was built in well, the whole thing was built in the 1600 or older. You can imagine, you know, how old it all is, but and there are conflicting reports, of course, because history can be like that sometimes. But anyway, so I have this piece also that has kind of a cement texture on it. It has a wood grain on the back. This came from, where did this come from? I'll get back to you. It'll be in the description if you are interested and want to know. And then these two, which are cuttings from our last layout. which you'll recognize from that. And then this is a little bit left of the Cool Gray Cardstock that I had from last time. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut some paper to prepare for doing these 2 pages. I'm going to grab my trimmer. My big 12-inch trimmer is the one I'm going to use here. And we're going to cut for this main paper that's going to go up the center. We're going to use the wall. And I'm just going to trim off this top edge because we don't need the blue edge going across. Again, this paper is made by Reminisce, and it's Ireland Killarney National Park. It's the same one we used last time. And I'm so glad, oh, it's got this beautiful scene on the back of Killarney National Park. That's part of the reason why it has that name, I would guess. And I love realistic papers like this. I think they add a lot to our pages. Sometimes they can be, sometimes they're beautiful like a picture like this, and then you kind of feel like you don't want to put your pictures on that paper. You know what I mean? I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. But you sort of feel like the paper's so pretty you just don't want to cover it up. Have you ever had a piece of paper that you felt that way about? Okay, so I'm just measuring this. This needs to be 3 inches and it's a little bit wide. So we're just going to cut a little bit off of that one to make it 3 inches, and then this one needs to be 3 inches as well. So it's going to need to be trimmed a bit too. Not as much. All right. And then we need these to be 9 inches long. So I'm going to stack these 3 by 12 pieces. We're going to measure out to 9 inches on the arm here and go ahead and cut this 3-inch piece off. So now we have 2 3-inch squares left of that moss paper plus those extra little tiny strips. All right, so that's that. And this paper, I'm going to use this one to punch my border with, and this one I think to possibly to frame or to matte photos. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'll punch a piece with this and punch a piece with this, and then I can layer them, and I think that will look really nice. So we've got some punching to do. Let me set my trimmer over here to the side, grab my custom cutting system, and we will get to it, shall we? All right, let's do this one first. We're going to just we're going to punch 2 of this one and then 2 of the Cool Gray Cardstock. And if you've never seen our border maker system, it is unique, but I don't have time to go into it right now. But suffice to say, these 2 notches work into these notches on the back and help you to align the punch. And it's just amazing. It's one of my favorite tools aside from my trimmer. You can do so much with this. One of these days we'll do a 101.5 lesson on creative things you can do with this, besides just punching a normal border and layering it like I'm going to do today, because there are some other things that you can do which are fun. And I've covered a few of them in other videos, but in case you've missed that, it might be good if we put them all together in one place. Okay, they're having too much fun upstairs, I can tell. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to punch this gray twice. All right, now we are about there. So now we need our trimmer again. And I'm going to come in here and trim this. I'm going to put the top of this punched piece at the 3/4 inch mark and trim it there. It's good to have a measurement and know where you need to put the paper, and that way you can make sure that all of the pieces, all your strips are the same and they match. Okay, now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go just a little beyond that. I'm going to go to the 7/8 mark on my trimmer. And the reason is because I want to be able to, I want to have a shadow. I want to be able to see that shadow on the top and the bottom of my border. We'll revisit that trimmer probably when we get to the matting stage, but I'm going to take this printed or this punched designer border and line it up on top. And you can see by just by adding about 1/8 of an inch when we trimmed the bottom, it actually lines this up perfectly for a shadow. So you don't have to guess. You just center the punched piece on top of the solid piece. The punched designer paper gets centered on top of the cardstock, and you're off and running. Just like that. All right, so our borders are good to go. Let's grab those pages and start getting these assembled. So we're going to set this over here. I'm actually going to just sort of scoop up these pictures and move them over here. All right, so this is the left-hand side of our layout. I have another page underneath here for the right-hand side of the layout. First thing we're going to do is take the 6x12 piece. We're going to put some adhesive up and down the long sides every couple of inches. Basically, I do each corner, one in the middle, and one in between each of those. And then I do one on a piece like this that I want to make sure is anchored really well. I also do one on the shorter end in the middle in between the corners, this one. Okay, I'm going to line my page up on my mat that I'm working on. That's going to allow me to easily see where the center is. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, this line is the center of my page. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up 3 inches on either side of that. Right on the edge, there we go. And then that just makes it easy to know that's in the right place. Okay, then I'm going to take these two, and you know what I'm noticing that I did not consider when I was doing this is I need 2 more pieces for my other side of this layout. And I don't have 2 more pieces of this moss paper. So what can we do? We can come back in here with the cement paper, because that's my biggest sheet that I have right here. I'm going to cut 2 pieces from this. Hang on, let's see how wide this is already. That is 10 inches. So if I can either cut 2 strips that are 3 inches and then have 2 more squares, which wouldn't be altogether bad because they would match my other squares. Or I could cut some 3 pieces or 2 strips this way and have a 6 by 10 piece left over. I think I'm going to go with that, having a 6 by 10 piece left over. I can do more with that, I think. So we're going to go 3 inches. And I'm going to need to trim a little off the end of these because they're a little long. We'll stack these on top of each other and then find the 9-inch mark over here to the left. All right. Hold on. My pieces don't appear to be stacked quite accurately. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now I have a 1 by 3 strips instead of 2 squares, but I have that bigger piece that I can work with, so that will be good. Okay, now I'm just going to put my trimmers back over there. Now I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and do 1 of each on each layout. So we'll put the cement one in the center and the moss one on the side. This one is a little harder to see because of the pages that I'm working on, but that's okay. It'll all be all right. Some might take some ink and make that a little darker. In fact, let's do that. All right, so here is my brush, and this has many, many, many tiny little fibers on it. You can see as I run my finger over the top of it. It's not foam, it's actually bristles. And then I think this one would work. Let's try it and see if this one makes enough of an impact. So I'm going to get some ink on my brush. Sometimes you have to give it a little bit of pressure. You can see there's the ink. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this edge away from my page because I don't want it to flick any ink onto my page. But I'm just going to come in here and just make that just the slightest bit darker. There's not much ink on my brush, but you can see how that darkens that edge just enough that now I can see it where I could not see it before. So let's do the same thing with this one so that they'll both be similar. Don't play with inks very much, but I do have some videos that you're going to be seeing in the coming weeks where we're going to talk about using our pens in a little bit different way. So I hope you'll all tune in to that. Those are going to be 101.5 lessons. But that will be fun. And as you're watching this video, it's worth noting to you that while you're watching this video, I may actually be in surgery because I'm having my right hand carpal and cubital tunnel surgery done today. So maybe if you are a praying person and you'd be willing to offer a prayer for me that my arm gets better quickly, that would be great. So let's go ahead and get this put together. So we've got the 6-inch piece on here. We're going to go about, I'm guessing about 1.5 inches from the top edge of our page. And so as I place this on here, I can just sort of center it on my page. I'm not worried about this edge down here because the border is going to go across this edge down here. That's why I only put ink on the one side, in case you were wondering, because I didn't explain that very well ahead of time. But if you want to put ink on both ends, be my guest. That is completely up to you. All right, so again, 1.5 inches from, or roughly 1.5 inches from the top edge of your page. And then that is centered. All right, then we're going to take our border and it's going to go right across the bottom here. And I'm putting my flat edge of my border even with the flat edge of these two pieces of paper. So having the dark cardstock behind this really helps set it apart from this, since we ended up using this in our layout. Just a thought. I can't remember if I intended that or not. Because I plan these out and pull papers and stuff, and then I lose track of what I had thought I was going to do sometimes, and so I don't really remember for sure. But this is the basic layout, and then we're going to add our photos to that. But we need to do the right hand side of our page now. So I'm just going to set that up there. We're going to grab this other page and just jump in here and get this all squared away real quick. So again, lining up my page, finding the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that I can center that 3 inches on either side of center. Perfect. Now this time I'm going to take the cement, and the cement's going to go on the inside of my page toward the hinges so that it matches up with the cement that is on the cement paper that's on the other side, the other page. And so we can measure and guesstimate, or we can bring this down and lay this out. Line up our pages like that. Like that. And then we can see exactly where we put that. It's really more important, I've said it before, it's really more important that your paper obviously be in the same spot than that the measurement be exactly what we said it should be. As long as you make sure those are at the same height, then no one's going to notice that there's anything unusual. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side with the moss paper. Line up our page. pages, line up the pages there, like that. And then we can line those up. Although these will be a little harder to tell if they're off because they're on opposite sides of the layout. It's still nice if they are the same. All right, and then we're going to take this border and get this on. And this lines up right with the bottom of these papers. As long as you got these in the right spot, this will be in the right spot and line up with that. All right, so let's talk about some pictures here real quick. Let's bring this back down and we'll try to determine whether we want to mat any of these or not. I think it would help if we did, just looking at that real quick, I think it would definitely help if we matted some or added some mats. Now you're gonna notice, and I'm sure I'll get comments from people that we can't see this pretty border if I line these up the way that they've got their photos all lined up, because honestly I did not I'm not going to crop these photos into 3x4s. But you know, if you're doing this layout, these 3 photos at the bottom into 3x4s would fit beautifully right across there, and mat them, give them a 1/4 inch mat all the way around, and they'll look just like the sketch right here. Okay, so 3 wide, 4 high with a 1/4 inch mat all the way around. So you would add a 1/2 inch and make the mat 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and then you'll have it'll just look beautiful right across the middle there. But because of the historic nature of these, and because I don't want to lose the photos, I am not doing that. I'm just wondering though, if I dropped this border down a little bit for the purposes of this layout, if it would be nicer, because then I could see it better. And since I used repositionable adhesive, I could do that without too much of an issue. So let's just see what that looks like. I hate to disassemble something that's already good to go, but you know, it's okay. If we decide that that something looks better, we can take it apart. That's the beauty of repositionable adhesive. All right. So I'm just going to run my hand across here really quick and remove any of that adhesive that's still stuck to my page, because I can feel it there. Okay, and we'll possibly add some more if we decide that this is what we want to do. But I'm just going to drop this down to the point where that seam at the bottom of those papers is covered by the top portion of my border. So basically that means I've got about 3/4 of an inch between the bottom of my border and the bottom of my page. And that, again, this is deviating from the sketch just a bit, but I think it will work out better for my purposes with these photos, because again, I don't want to crop them down any further than they already are, and I want still to be able to see that pretty border that we made. So that allows me to still be able to see the border, and I can see the pictures. It might be nice to have a mat around the photos, but I would need to crop the photos some more in order to do that. And I don't know if I want to. I could crop this one a little bit more narrow maybe, or this one just a little bit more and allow a little more space. I'll think about that while we lay out these other photos. Make a decision when we get there. Okay, so this is the interior of the Rock of Cashel, in case you were wondering, and I'm going to need to do the same thing over here so that we have balance and so that the photos that I want to put on here will work. Okay. The interior of the Rock of Cashel, as you can see, it has no roof. After so many years, the roof caved in at some point and they never replaced it. So you can see all of the lichen and other things plants that are growing between the rocks on the inside and the outside of this amazing building. Let me put just a little bit more adhesive on this because I pulled a lot of it off. I'll get this put back. About there. All right. And they're very proud of the fact that Queen Elizabeth came and visited. So this is a poster that is in the front, in the entryway, or in the main assembly hall of the cathedral here. And it shows, you can see Queen Elizabeth very easily because she's in her bright coat. And when she came to visit, which is cool. It's my understanding that at this time in the world, Northern Ireland is under British reign, but the rest of Ireland is not. And Tipperary is, County Tipperary is part of the area that is not under British control. So having her visit, I don't think it's ever been under British control, that southern area. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, I'm not perfect, but it was quite the thing to have her come and visit this hill in Cashel. What I love are all of these arches. Can you see the arches that are in here? This arch. And the center point of the cathedral was this beautiful arch that was built back so long ago. I just can't even fathom how in the world they were able to do that. No, excuse me. And the stonework and the masonry that's in here, I mean, it's just so impressive. My funny girl, Emily, was making faces. And I caught her making faces. So, of course, that's going to go in the scrapbook. She said, "Oh, no, you're putting that in the scrapbook?" Well, yeah. So that's what happens when you make faces at the scrapbooker. You end up with a funny face in the scrapbook. Wish I knew how high this arch was, but you can see compared to the people approximately how high that was. It was quite impressive. Quite impressive. All right, I'm going to get the rest of these put in here, and then we'll talk about some embellishments. So we'll add a title in here, and let's get some embellishments for here. So in the sketch, they suggest that we have embellishments. Look, they've got like embellishments all over the place. So I'm going to go with the thirds rule, and we're going to put some embellishments at the 1/3 and 2/3 mark in different places, so that it helps our eye track better. And I'm just looking to see if I have, there's another one that would work. Let's see. Let me find those other ones. Maybe they're not in here. Let's see. There's something in this one that we could use. I have a good feeling about that. Let's see. They are just funny. My mom and my sister are here. We're gonna crop tonight, so that's part of the reason my kids are excited. Okay, I think we're just gonna go with this. Let's see what we can make happen, and maybe I'll keep these out and we might add just a dot or two or something. I don't use those enough. Do you use your enamel stickers when you do your embellishing? I'd love to take a poll sometime and see if people use those as much or don't use them as much as I don't use them. They're cool, I think, for cards, but I just don't put them in my scrapbooks much. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to move this so that I can see the whole layout a little bit better. I think what I would like to do is add these up here, kind of a little bit like that. And then we'll add a title in there, and then we're going to use this one and put this one down here. And we'll use this one. And put it in another spot. So we're just going to kind of have those leaves stick out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I think I'm not quite in camera. Sorry about that. We'll have these kind of come off the bottom. And then this one, it's so hard because I don't want to cover up anything important. We'll stick this in here kind of like so. So it's not covering up anything but the sky. And then this one, oops, I put my adhesive in the wrong place. You ever do that? Kind of like that. Okay. Just going to add a little bit more, just a couple of those little places. This one's going to go kind of here, like so. And then these little guys are going to go up here. This one's going to go right on the edge of the page. And then this one will go a little bit down from there, just because I don't want the leaves to overlap themselves. And that might look a little strange, but I don't think we'll really notice. Once the title is on there, I think it will all look just peachy. All right, so then let's come back and we'll add just a couple of these dots and hearts and things. Let's see, we can add this little guy. Oh, well, that's not really where I wanted him to go. There we go. We'll do like that, and then we can do some other cute little dots down. Let's see, where should we put the dots? I wanted to go over here. Like that. And we'll add a couple of little dots up here, and that coordinating deep sea green color. Oh, this isn't glued in. My bad. I've got my cart before the horse, as they say. All right. Like that. And then we'll add a little dot right there. And another little dot next to it. Like that. Just for fun. Actually, you know what I could do? I could put some dots up here in that space right there. That's fun. Let's use a green one. Green one. And then we'll use these other, I've got one of each of those colors that I used in each of those embellishments. We'll stick right there. And another one right here. Ah, it's stuck to my multi-purpose tool. Okay. Ooch, ooch. I need to go over just a little. Okay, there we go. All right, I think I'm done messing with this one. Let me know what you think. I would love to read your comments. Always love to know what you think. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And for the next couple of weeks, most of the videos you're going to see are pre-recorded, and that's because of my surgery. So hopefully all will go well with that, and I will be back with you shortly. And we'll probably see some of Emily working on her Yellowstone pages and that kind of thing until my hand is back to more normal. So until then, take care, and I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.